Welcome back to Spotlight New Jersey. I'm Della Cruz. This year, the New Jersey Business and Industry Association is promoting diversity and inclusion. May 20th, they're holding a statewide summit at Mercer County Community College. It runs from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. The association is also launching 2 new councils. The Diversity and Inclusion Council was started by roundtable discussions. The Not-for-Profit Council is launching on February 18th. Jodi Grinwald is Business Relations Representative, and good to have you here.
I'm so glad to be here, Della. Thank you.
All right, so since the February 18th is coming up, and
Yes.
that's when that one is launching, let's talk about the Not-for-Profit Council.
Absolutely. Well, we are the largest association, business association, employer association in the state of New Jersey. We have 15,000 members.
That's a lot.
And, yeah, so many. And we represent 1 million employees.
Wow.
Out of that approximate 15,000 members, 2,000 of them are nonprofits. It's really important to us as an organization the size that we are to make sure that we're there to support the different industries that we represent. So in doing that, we decided to have the Nonprofit Council. You know, in speaking to people, we're like, we know there's so many different organizations that support nonprofits, but we, with that large base, need to do the same. So we want to bring the for-profits into the conversation as well. And we're starting our first council meeting, as you said, on February 18th. It's really going to be an open dialogue, you know, a discussion, because we feel that it's so important to hear what the needs are of the nonprofits, and then we'll move on from there to see what the topics are that we need to cover, where there's maybe some issues and not issues, that's a tougher word, more like challenges that the nonprofits may be facing.
That's a good word, challenges, yeah.
It is totally challenges, and the for-profits in the room are going to be able to actually hear what some of the nonprofits do, because to be honest with you, a lot of times the for-profits will know that nonprofits need funding, but they don't really know exactly what the programs are that each nonprofit offers to those in the community and possibly those employees that work for them, that they might need some of their services. So that was one of the reasons, but really the big piece that has really kind of bubbled to the top is the fact that nonprofits need to collaborate more. And we want to help make that happen. And we know that the for-profits can really add a lot to that conversation. So I think that we're really going to be listening to what the nonprofits and for-profits have to say about working together, and we're going to take it from there. You know, we are a relationship-driven organization, not a transactional organization, and so we're building on these relationships that we have with our members.
Now let's talk about the May 20th summit.
Yes.
Or actually, let's talk about the Diversion and Inclusion Council first.
Absolutely, and as you said, it was born out of 4 roundtable discussions that we had with organizations, both small and large. You know, we had sole proprietors talking about it, to us about diversity, as well as the large organizations and what they're doing. You know, we see that a lot of employers right now are having employer resource groups that are there for their employees, but we know that this conversation is evolving, and we know that organizations that have a real conversation around inclusion and diversity, happier employees, more productive. The world is changing, and
Yes,
we need to be changing along with it. And so during this summit that we're having on May 20th at Mercer County Community College, we are going to be talking about increasing the supplier diversity chain, and we're also going to be talking about increasing our inclusion within our organizations, in our workplace in 2020 and beyond. So these are topics that are ever changing and evolving, and it depends, it depends where you are within your organization. If you're a sole proprietor, what that means to you may be different than an organization that has, you know, 1,000 employees. So that conversation will be evolving. What I love about what we're doing with this panel, there are going to be 2 panel discussions, but at the end of the summit, we're going to have a networking with supply chain individuals who are executives within academia, manufacturing, and pharma. And we're going to have our attendees get to network with them and learn, what are they doing? These are experts in those industries that are doing a lot for diversity and inclusion within their organizations and industries, and they'll be there to network with everybody at the end of the event. So it's going to be a great event, first event out of its kind. With the Capital Region Minority Chamber of Commerce, we are doing that collaboratively.
It sounds like everybody has a lot to learn from this, and it's going to be a win-win situation for everybody. Now, we have some figures, speaking of diversity and inclusion and the world changing.
Yes.
Let's take a look at these facts and figures, okay?
Sure.
About the progress we are making, and of course we still have work to do. Women filling 40% of board seats in 2018, 183 women appointed to vacant or newly created board seats. but only 22.5% of women hold seats on the Fortune 500 companies. Right. That's crucial.
That is crucial. Now, if you look at the number 40%, that's pretty good, you know, and compared to where we were at 2016 when we started the Women's Business Leaders Network, it's a statewide council that we have since 2016, the numbers have increased. Our CEO, Michelle Sakurga, is really passionate about all the councils, but this is where we start. This is one of the councils that started first in 2016. And for us, we're looking at, there is no glass ceiling. There doesn't need to be a glass ceiling. We need to make sure that women in business get to have the career path that they want. Whether it's you want to stay in mid-level management, or if you want to go to the C-suite, get to the C-suite, how can we help you get there? And it shouldn't be about gender. It should be about what your knowledge is and where you want to go. So our Women's Business Leaders Forum that we have once a year in September has 500 women that come out plus. And we also need to have men in the conversation. That's really important. We need everybody in the room as we help them. You know, we give them resource tools, skill set tools. And what's really great about our Women's Business Leaders Forum is we have tracks. So if you're in the beginning of your career, we have a track for you. And then if you're already in the C-suite, we want to help continue your education. And it really, that forum, everybody that leaves feels inspired. It's a collaboration. It's a day that everybody just walks out feeling like they can reach the goals that they have. And women coming together, we do great things.
I love the fact that you are an employee of NJBIA and you also work with a nonprofit, which we will be talking about in a future Spotlight New Jersey show.
Thank you.
That puts you in a unique position to help everybody.
It is. It's very interesting. I think I'm probably the only one on staff and also a member. I started as a member years ago when I worked for a very large nonprofit national organization and loved my membership and what it did for me. A membership organization is only as good as you work towards working with them. And so for me, I went to events and I felt always supported by the organization, and they always were about listening. And so when I started as a staff person, I really believed that I wanted to be able to share my experience with those sitting across from me about why it's so important to be part of a membership organization. As a small nonprofit, our budget is teeny tiny, you can only imagine. But one of the first questions the president and I had was, okay, what kind of organizations do we need to join so we can increase our exposure and just expand our reach? And the NJBIA, before I worked for them, because we started the foundation 3 years ago, that was top #1 on our list. And honestly, we've gotten sponsors from meeting people there. We've expanded our reach. We've had unbelievable conversations with people who now support the foundation just from attending events. The other piece that I don't know that all of our members do, but I hope they do, we'll continue to do so, is that as a staff person, you can reach out to me and say, I really would love to be connected to XYZ member if you wouldn't mind. That's something that there's no price tag on that. There's most people look at membership and say, what's the ROI? I say, what's the value on the investment?
I love that, the value on the investment. We will continue with that thought as we continue here on Spotlight New Jersey. We are back with Jodi from the NJBIA and your closing thoughts.
So the NJBIA, as I said, is the largest employer association in the state of New Jersey. And we have so many benefits from being a part of the organization. You know, like I mentioned, value on investment. I think that's a really important piece to what we do. From cost-saving benefits to being part of any of these councils. The important thing for us as an organization is to be there to listen to our members, to see what it is that they need. We're in Trenton every single day helping businesses do better business, and that's really what we're here for. We know that there's so many needs out there from all of them. There's so many different challenges they're facing, but there's also tons of success stories which we love to be able to share during our council meetings, during our events. You know, there's always fabulous speakers, and I'd have to say we have basically, I think, close to 30+ events a year, if not more. HR events, different events for different topics. So please go to our website, is what I would tell everybody, to take a look and see what's really out there working with us. You know, www.njbia.org. There's tons of information on there. We're always available on there for anybody who has a question. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, or a larger business, we cover it all, and we actually pride ourselves on working with small to mid-sized businesses to be a support to them.
Jodi Grinwald, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you again to talk about your nonprofit.
I'm looking forward to it.
You can find out more about all of today's guests on news12.com. Click Top Stories, select Features from the drop-down menu, then scroll down to Spotlight New Jersey. This show will also be posted on my Facebook page for all to like and enjoy.